Like my grandmother, she made sure I had to pay 10% of my check. Like I'm like, Grandma, I got to get 10% of my check to the church. Like to me, that was crazy. What am I getting back in return? Like, but I seen, my grandmother, my mother struggle. Like they struggled and they paid their tithes faithfully though. So with that still being said, I think if someone is paying their tithes faithfully, a member should be able to walk into that church and ask the church for a one-time loan that they will pay back, just like they do with the check cashing store they go to. They go take out money and pay them back. Why not a church have a check cashing store, which is a pillar in the black community, right? Because in every poor area we have check cashing stores.
But we don't own them.
None whatsoever. None. But we go there and we have to pay this. We have to pay this money back. Why not have the church have this check cashing store, and whatever the profit that they make goes back into the community? I see pastors ride around in like $200,000 cars, but then we have people that goes to the church. They give their tithes every single week, and they go home poor. Like, but these pastors, exactly. But then these pastors get in their car, they drive off in their Bentley or they drive off in their nice Mercedes Benz, and then they ride to their nice, probably $1 million house. And to me, that's a problem. First of all, I think any pastor that makes over $150,000, that's a problem to me, right? Because now it's not about helping. Like basically, when you started this church, you probably had the heart to help, but now that you're making so much money, is it truly the heart or is it greed?
And okay, so what I will say about that is I do think, of course, pastors should be compensated. I know some pastors, I know a lot of pastors actually that don't get compensated for what they do. Sure. And honestly, their churches aren't as large and they don't have the congregation that the mega churches have. Sure. But I will say that, to an extent, I agree that there should be a limit. If I'm out here asking for my congregation to fund a jet or to fund a new vehicle, me personally, I don't think that's, something that's in God's will.
I think I read like one person in the comments say, well, he deserves to travel the world to go spread the gossip. And I agree. What about getting on a commercial flight? You don't need a...
Agreed.
Like, when I'm reading these articles right now, like one of these articles say it's his 4th private jet. The pastor need his 4th private jet. Like that. I
think how they got the numbers. I think he wanted a G5 or a G6. Yeah. I'm not too sure.
I'm reading right now. Falcon 7 nets for $54 million. He asked his congregation to fund a $54 million jet. That's mind-boggling. First of all, you can spend $54 million and go lift up the poorest community.
Yeah, scholarships.
Like it's so much you could do with that. Imagine if that $54 million went to buying, let's just say, one of the Overtown projects or one of the buildings in Overtown or building it up. And then you put your congregation in that building so that money they paying for rent actually gets cycled right back into the church. Yeah. Now, that's what I call money well spent.
That should be a priority, honestly, because the amount of money that it seems like is being spent, and I may be wrong, you may be wrong, we may be misconceiving, the whole topic and how the churches are spending their money, but it's evident that we don't have our own, apartment complexes. We don't have our own senior living facilities. We don't have our own churches. We don't have our own sports programs. Right. We don't have, a program, where you could go in and say, to the church, I need help. And, I need help, in a monetary, fashion. I need money to pay my bills. No interest. I've been going to this church for 20 plus years. I'm a tithes paying member. Right. I consistently pay my tithes, no matter if I'm high, if I'm low.
Imagine if a church actually owned the grocery store, and then they tell the congregation and everybody in this community to, hey guys, go ahead and spend this money that you're already getting from government assistance, right? Spend this money inside our black religious churches, right? And that money, once we get done paying every worker that's in that store, the profits, the proceeds go back into the community. Yep. That right there is a change. People don't understand that the church communities can actually by itself change the whole economic system in a poor neighborhood. People really don't understand this. Like they could have better schools. The church could build better communities. The church could open up stores. And the crazy part is, what a lot of people don't know is the church is a 501c tax write-off. So a lot of these
So they have special
special
exemptions.
Way special.
You know that's even further than regular, you know, nonprofit organizations.
So a lot of people like don't even understand the benefits of how powerful the church community is. Like I found a article that was a church based off in New York. They have over $1 billion real estate portfolio, and I was like, man, that's a huge real estate portfolio. Do people understand what $1 billion?
And that's powerful.
Yeah, like imagine if your mega church owned $1 billion worth of property inside of your community.
Again, it goes back to, you know, we got to hold them accountable. We got to hold them accountable and hold ourselves accountable. And what I mean by that is, you know, we have to let them know, you know, as a congregation, you know, as a Black community, because honestly, you know, faith leaders, they may be taking the traditional stance, you know, so they may be like, I'm here to spread the word of God. I'm here to, you know, help out spiritually the community. I'm here to give them the word. And we just need to fund this building that we're in. And we do community service here and there. We do our drives. We do our scholarships here and there. But they're not seeing the bigger picture. They're not, you know, they're not evolving with the time. Again, right now, the access to, you know, money donations that the church has, it's limitless. You know, you can give anytime, from anywhere, any place, any hour, anyhow you want to nowadays. You could probably give in Bitcoin now, right, for some churches. So the key to this is, in my opinion, is, you know, the congregation being aware of what situation we're in. It's ignorance, you know, so we don't know, you know, the power of the church. Even though we're in the church, we only see it as our spiritual, you know, guiding tool that we use, our community that we build for spiritual guidance. But we don't realize that, you know, this is a $400+ billion industry from us alone.